A lot of people use car services like Uber to get around. I don't know if you folks do, but a lot of folks do. I know my kids use them all the time. So when I heard this story about how director Kevin Smith's 16-year-old daughter Harley was almost kidnapped by two men posing as Uber drivers, I found it very, very disturbing. According to Harley's Instagram, she was standing outside a Starbucks in Los Angeles waiting for an Uber when a large beige car with two white men around the ages of 20 to 30 pulled up next to her. The men had an Uber sign in the window, and they tried to convince her to get in. Luckily, she realized it wasn't the right car, and she reported the incident to the cops. She wrote about it and warning others to be careful. I don't think they've caught these people yet, but that is really, really upsetting because a lot of, especially young people.
Like the fact, though, that someone, it was, you know, it sounds weird because she's standing there, but that they knew she ordered an Uber and like, you know, I don't know, did they hack into her?
It's easy because if
you can see
everyone's
the people
waiting
that are
on an Uber on the side of the street these days, but this is a great reminder. You always have to check who your driver is, the license plate. I mean, anytime you're getting into a car.
And that driver would know your name, too, wouldn't they automatically?
Confirm.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
I just had an Uber. I had a guy actually jump into my Uber and start driving. He owed me some money, matter of fact.
The guy who jumped in the car?
Because the guy didn't check the name. Right, so you have to make sure that you check their name and they check your name before you jump in. And I always look at the license plate. And just tell your children to be very, very careful. Just, you know, we're in some crazy times. You know, you got to be careful when you do certain things.
One thing that I promised my mom, and I'm 35 years old, I shouldn't be doing this, but my mom and I just have a relationship like that. I screen cap the Uber driver and his license plate, and I just text it to her.
What does that mean to someone like me?
Every time you use an Uber?
Yes.
What is screen cap?
Basically, it takes a picture of my driver, his license plate, where I was picked up, and I just text it to her. And I say, hi, Mom, like with an emoji, and I send it to her because you just never know nowadays. And like in the city, you're by yourself.
Also, you can share your ETA and where,
that's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
But I just like, I'll text it to my husband, but usually my mom, just because I want her to have peace of mind. And we're women, like, you know, things happen all the time. At 35, at 15, so just
Always make sure somebody else knows.
Yes.
Exactly. Great advice. All right, moving on now. Women spend a lot of time covering up their gray roots, but there's a new trend, at least among millennial men, about going gray. They more than like it. They think it's great. Take 23-year-old...
The guys are like,
Put your hand down, sir. You're not no millennial.
Happened to you naturally. All right. 23-year-old former One Direction singer Zayn Malik, who recently dyed his locks silver. I think it looks good on him. Anderson Cooper, of course, naturally went gray in his 20s. That is a good-looking man. But now men are paying as much as $600 to get the look. I like the silver fox on a young man.
To a silver fox. He turned gray at 25, I think, and he's 40-something now.
Yeah.
I don't want to reveal his age, but he looked older at the time. I thought he was 40 at the time he was trying, but it looked sexy on him.
It looks great on him.
My husband's 29, and he's starting to get the silver in his hair, and I love it. I think it looks great.
But you sort of started this trend before anybody else.
Meredith, I start lots of trends that no one ever pays attention to. But, yeah, if you looked at me in the 90s, there we go. Look, that's about 1997 right there. Yeah.
You kind of look like Eminem.
Eminem meets the guy from Harry Potter.
And Eminem came out about a year after that.
That's true.
Would you do it again now?
No, because I think my hair would fall out at this point if I went to the root like that. But I bleached the tips of my hair. I still got the blonde tips going on.
The only reason apparently some guys don't do it again is because the maintenance is so hard.
It is.
To keep your hair like that.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah, exactly. It does look fine.
When is the time going to turn where it's okay for us to be gray?
It's happening more and more, I think. I do.
Yeah,
I do.
But
that's a
I wish we would experiment with lots of colors. I want to go full-on Hunger Games. I want blue and purples and greens.
And I want a job, so I'm not going to do that.